What's up, guys? I'm gonna rant about Adobe for a few minutes and then I'm gonna show you some free alternatives. Let's go. Well, guys, I don't know if any of you have been using Photoshop as long as I have. You probably have, and you might remember this logo from Adobe Photoshop 4.0. This is roughly like the 1996 version of Photoshop, and this is the software that I grew up on as a kid. Okay, so like we've come a long way in Photoshop, and I used to have this really endearing view of Adobe and of Photoshop. I thought it was the coolest program ever, and you could do pixel bashing, and you could put one picture into another picture, and it was just a wild time. We used to edit individual frames of our videos that we would film, me and my brother. We would pull individual frames from Movie Maker into Photoshop 4.0, and we would edit them, and we'd add lightsaber effects or whatever stupid silly home video we were working on that day. Man, I spent a countless amount of hours in Photoshop 4.0, and then it was like CS2 or CS5. This was like a one-time purchase thing. You bought Photoshop 4.0 and you owned it, or the older ones, and you owned them forever. It wasn't a subscription model. When the early creative suites came out, which was like all of the apps together by Adobe, you could just buy them. It was possible to just buy the software back in the day. We used to be able to just buy things and own things forever. It's a novel concept in 2026 that you might buy a music track, like an MP3 track. You might buy it on the internet, and then you own it, and you can use it, on all of your devices. You can put it on your MP3 player. You can play it from your computer, your laptop, and you don't have to pay the subscription. Now we have Spotify, we have YouTube Music, Apple Music, and everything you could possibly imagine under the sun is now a subscription, including Adobe, of course, much to my dismay. Adobe has really gone downhill over the years. So a lot of these prices are just introductory prices that you're seeing in here. Like, it says $34.99 a month, but that's just like a quick trial for like new users. Like, once you've had Adobe for a year, it's actually $70 a month now to get all of the Adobe apps. This includes things like Photoshop, Adobe Premiere for editing video, Adobe Lightroom for editing batch photos, Adobe Acrobat. Does Acrobat even do anything? What is Acrobat for? I don't think anybody knows. I don't even think Adobe knows what Acrobat is for. Under the description, it just says, get all the Acrobat Pro tools you love. What are the Acrobat Pro tools? I don't think I want to know. Adobe Premiere, if you just want Adobe Premiere and nothing else, you're still paying $23 a month forever to use Adobe Premiere. This is insane. So at $70 a month for all apps, which if you want like Premiere and you want the photography bundle, then it's cheaper just to get the Creative Cloud Pro. So you're either on photography, which is $20 a month and goes up every year, or you get Creative Cloud Pro. I can't even say that. Which is very common, and that gives you everything. And most people only use, 2 to 4 of these apps in all likelihood. Like, what the heck is Adobe Express? Nobody cares. But $70 a month for Creative Cloud, it's on the annual subscription, so it would be even more expensive on a monthly subscription. But that is $840 a year? Every year to use software that's not really changing that fast. Like, Adobe Photoshop in the last 5 years has added like AI, and it doesn't work that good. It's noticeably worse than like ChatGPT's AI for images, and so that's what you're paying. Lightroom has added a good AI denoiser in the last few years, and that's about it. Like, Lightroom has not changed in the last few years. After Effects Don't even get me started on After Effects. But I'm getting sidetracked. This is $840 a month. Let's say you use Adobe apps for 25 years, like pretty conservatively. I've been using Photoshop since I was 8, so I've been using Photoshop for over 20 years now. So 25 years of Adobe is $21,000, but that's at the current price. And the price pretty much goes up every single year or every couple of years. So that could easily turn into $30,000 or $25,000 over, you know, a relatively short career of creative tools. Like, a lot of people are going to be using these tools for 40 years. I mean, I'm sure I will be using stuff like Photoshop for well over 40 years because I started so young and I want to do photography forever. So Adobe has gotten a lot of backlash in the last few years. There's many reasons for this. We're not really a big fan of the conglomerate. If you want to cancel a plan, this is one of the big ones. If you want to cancel a plan, you'll notice this is an annual plan billed monthly. So if you cancel it halfway throughout the year, they're still going to charge you for the rest of the year, even though you're not like getting the benefit of the software for that. For example, this guy in Reddit. This guy is going to be charged, you know, a large portion of this cancellation fee just to cancel the software, and they make it very difficult. They make it very difficult to turn off the auto renewal as well for this software. Now, very recently, this is like a couple months ago, from justice.gov, Adobe agrees to settle $150 million in violations of the Restore Online Shoppers Confidence Act. What does that mean? That means basically they were making it really hard to like see this fine print, and I'm sure that they're adding some new terms in light of this recent like lawsuit, this recent settlement, but they're actually no longer going to be able to use some of these shadier methods for collecting money from you because they've just got out of this huge lawsuit. This huge like class action, I guess it is. So the proposed order requires Adobe to pay $75 million in civil penalties and offer customers $75 million. This is additional. And free services to resolve allegations that the company's subscription practices violated the Restore Online Shoppers Confidence Act. That act just requires them to like be honest and disclose important subscription information ahead of time instead of when you go to cancel your subscription. They just hit you with this big fee, and this has happened to me. They've hit me with $100-$200 fee to like cancel the rest of my yearly plan, which is why I ended up switching to monthly plans, and then I just completely canceled my last Adobe plan a couple weeks ago. Man, it feels so good. Consumers should not have to navigate a digital maze to cancel a subscription, said U.S. Attorney Craig H. The thing about this, though, is like this isn't going to stop Adobe. Adobe is a huge corporation, and this isn't going to magically turn them into the type of people that you want to work with, which is why I'm giving you guys some better options that are also considerably less expensive or completely free, and pretty much everything I'm going to recommend to you guys actually works as good or better than the equivalent Adobe software, and it's stuff I use every week really. So this is something that I just found out today, actually, but Apple, if you are on Apple has this Creator Studio, $10 or $12 a month. Okay, it's $129, at least for the first year, for like an average person to get all of these apps. And if you're a student, it's $3 a month, $3 a month. And this gives you like Logic, this gives you Final Cut Pro, which is basically Adobe Premiere. Like anything you need to do in Premiere, you're going to be able to do in Final Cut Pro. So if you do have an Apple PC, like I have an Apple laptop, this is not a bad option. They also apparently have a pixel editor, Pixelmator, which I've never heard of before today. It might be new. I don't know. When did this release? But this looks pretty nice. At least for vector stuff. I'm assuming it does pixel editing because it's literally called Pixelmator, so it better do pixel editing. And it looks like it's on like iPad and like the desktop OS, Mac OS as well. And then you've got Logic, and I know Logic is really big in the audio world. I think the big audio mixer is Pro Tools, which is a huge pain in the butt to use, but that's what they use for feature films. But Adobe doesn't make Pro Tools anyways, so it's kind of irrelevant here. Logic Pro is probably better than anything Adobe is making, like for audio, but I'm not an audio guy, so take that with a grain of salt. Keynote. Yeah, nobody cares about that. But yeah, I mean, this is an option. So you get your pixel, your vector editor, your video editor, and like maybe some design tools for like either $3 or $12 a month from Apple. So that's an option, but I'm gonna show you guys some free options that I use. I haven't tried these Apple software yet. One software I'm gonna show you, this is called Darktable. It's free, it's open source, it's on Windows, it's on Mac, it's on Linux. I use it on all three of those platforms and it works actually better than Lightroom. It's a batch photo editor like Lightroom, so it's whereas Photoshop is like painstakingly editing one photo at a time, a batch photo editor like Lightroom or Darktable is for editing, 10, 20, 2,000 photos at once, and it takes a little bit of learning. Once you get used to this, I honestly like this more than Lightroom. It has all the same tools. It has literally every tool Lightroom has except for a good AI denoiser. It still has a denoiser. It's not quite at the level of Lightroom, but I only need to denoise my images like pretty rarely. And there's also like other software that can do that that's not Lightroom. So yeah, these are some pics I took. This is like, you kind of have your main view like you would in Lightroom. This is called the Lighttable view, and you can scroll through and like, assign ratings and all that stuff. And then you either double click an image or click on the darkroom tab over here, and it will take you into the individual photo editing. It's really not hard to use. Like, here's the crop tool. You have like curves, just like you would have curves in Lightroom or Photoshop or whatever. I have tutorials on how to use this, so if you want to learn how to edit in Darktable, just go check out the other videos on my Crumpchi YouTube channel. So that's free. It's literally community built. It's built by volunteers. It loads faster than Lightroom. In Lightroom, you have to like make smart previews and wait a long time for that to finish sort of buffering. You don't have to do that in Darktable. You can literally load in 1,000 photos and begin editing like 20 seconds later. So it's honestly faster than Lightroom, and it's free, dude. It's free, okay? The next free software I'm gonna show you is Affinity. You might have heard of Affinity. They got acquired by Canva recently. Canva so far is keeping Affinity free. It used to be paid software. Canva made Affinity free, and like the only part that's paid is the like AI part. You honestly don't, like, if you're like me, I don't use AI in editing. Find it incredibly distasteful, but if you wanted to pay for that, you can. And the nice thing is it keeps the software free for the rest of us. And they also have their business sort of teams, Canvas subscriptions they're trying to get people into, but the software is free. This is Photoshop and Illustrator packaged into one piece of software essentially, and it works on Windows natively, it works on Mac natively, and I actually use it mostly on my Linux machine, and it took me maybe 20 minutes to set it up, but it's been good since then. So you can literally use it wherever you want to, and if you want to use it on Linux, you just go through Wine. I think it's like a better layout than Photoshop, and it's been modernized a bit. So whereas in Photoshop you have all of these old legacy menus and stuff and like tools that you'll never use, Affinity's a little bit more streamlined in that they only show you like stuff you're actually going to use, and I actually really like that about Affinity. Okay, next up is going to be your replacement to Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects. Adobe Premiere, now I know a lot of you guys on YouTube like to use Adobe Premiere to edit. I have some bad news for you. Adobe Premiere is actually not that good. And I say that with love. Like, I used to edit on Premiere, and I liked it at the time because it's a little quicker to learn than DaVinci. But once you get into DaVinci Resolve, it's free. Like, 95% of the features are free. Some of the good, like, audio filters and stuff are in, like, 4K exports, I think, are paid. But it's a one-time payment that's, like, $300, or you can buy one of their hardware mixers, and you get the 2 license keys for free. And you get, with that, it's a one-time payment. You get lifetime updates, so you're not locked into one version. You can install it on as many machines as you want, but you can only use it on 2 machines at once with that license key for like $300. But it's honestly so much more stable than Premiere. It's what I'm editing this video on. It works like Premiere, it's just like you gotta learn the layout, so expect to spend like, you know, a week or 2 swapping from Premiere to DaVinci, and make sure you get your shortcuts. But once you get used to it, it's so good, man. It's so good. It's faster. It runs really well it runs better than Premiere on Windows for me. And it's also just blazing fast on my MacBook. And I do run it on Linux. And if you're on Windows or Mac, it's like a one-click download. It's easy. And DaVinci is also adding a photo page tab to their software. So the way it works is you have these tabs. You have the Cut tab, which is Premiere. You have Fusion, which is basically After Effects on steroids because it's node-based, so it's harder to learn. But the industry standard compositing software in Nuke is actually node-based, so node-based is better. It just takes a little bit of getting used to. DaVinci also has like basically industry-leading color grading for like feature films, and they have an audio editing tab. And so you have all of, like, your entire video toolkit is contained within this one software. So you can select a clip and take it straight into the visual effects, After Effects sort of side of things, which is called Fusion. And then you can take it back into the main part of DaVinci Resolve, all without leaving the software. You don't have to export a clip and import it into After Effects or whatever, and that is really, really nice. And it's very well optimized, and it just works. Even on, like, my processor is pretty old on this PC, it works for me flawlessly. As long as I use proxies, like, I can edit 4K. Okay, that was weird. I thought I deleted a bunch of images off of my hard drive, and that is not good, but I think I still have the originals. But yeah, so this is Affinity, which is your Photoshop equivalent. The shortcuts are the same as Photoshop. If they're not, you can just import somebody's shortcuts file. Over here you have stuff like the in-painting brush tool, healing brush tool. So this is like clone stamp tool basically. Like it works the same as Photoshop. It's just some things are laid out a little bit differently. Like if you go to brush tool, the brush settings, there's like some up here, but some you have to hit more. And once you hit more, that's where your brush settings are living. So like it was throwing me off the other day because I couldn't figure out how to change like the brush softness and stuff. But honestly, like hold down Alt to select a color. Like it's the same shortcuts as Photoshop. It is a little bit laggy on my Windows PC. It might just be because this computer is kind of old. It's super fast on my Mac with like no stability issues, and it's really fast on Linux with no stability issues. So it's actually the worst for me on Windows, but it's still usable most of the time, and it's like, it's free, dude. Did I mention it's free? So yeah, that's Affinity. Let's load up DaVinci, and I will show you guys what the video editor looks like. So it does take a minute to load. Oh man, look at this like golden hour light. This video I filmed with my brother, and down here you have the edit tab. This looks really confusing right now because I have like a ton of layers and stuff going on, but it's the same as Premiere. You know, you've got your clips. Change your keyboard shortcuts. So 8 splits the clip, 9 trims from beginning, and 0 trims from the end. You are welcome. You can thank me later. Let's go proxies, prefer proxies, playback resolution quarter, render cache. We're gonna go smart. And that's like basically all you need to like get it running fast. If it's acting slow, just change those settings. So here's the clip I shot of a tree. If I select the clip and I go down here, this is the visual effects page. And now I can do like my VFX. If I go over here, this is the color page, and I can make a new node. I can color grade this crap. You know, do my curves adjustments. We'll go to the media page. So this is like, this tab on the bottom left here is how you import videos. You would just, you know, grab your folder of videos from File Explorer or Finder, and you would just drag it into here and it'll load it all. It's good, man. It's a good piece of software. DaVinci Resolve, it's free. Affinity's free. Darktable is free. You honestly use anyone but Adobe right now. Use anybody but Adobe. Competition is good. You know, if they start sweating a little bit and losing all their customers, then maybe they'll start treating their customers like actual customers. Ever thought everything about that? So yeah, this video's gone on long enough. Thank you guys for bearing with it. I hope this was helpful. I do have Darktable tutorials, and I'm adding some Affinity tutorials to my YouTube channel. So if you want to learn how to edit photos for free in Darktable, I think I have 2 tutorials up already. I just take you through the process, and it's really not that hard to learn. So thank you guys for watching, and catch you in the next one. Peace.